Good morning. Today I will be speaking you about the history of Buddhism and what happened when Buddha attained his Nirvana. It is very important to know that Buddhism as a religion, or the teachings of Buddha, spread to all countries across the world, but it started at a particular time. When Buddha was alive, when Buddha was preaching his sermons in different places, that time nobody, not even Buddha, could realize that the religion will be accepted by so many people around the world. How it happened? How did it happen? This is all what I am going to talk to in this deliberation. Buddha, after attaining the Bodhi or enlightenment, meditating under a Bodhi tree, delivered his first sermon, and it was in Sarnath. Next. I informed how Gautama rejected his life of comfort, how he left the world, left home, his family, to embrace asceticism. He went for meditation, he went for gaining knowledge from different samanas of that time. After 49 consecutive days of meditation, Gautama became Buddha. Buddha, or the enlightened one who attained Bodhi. He got the enlightenment while meditating under a Bodhi tree. He made the announcement in the public that he got the Bodhi, he got the enlightenment. It is about 528 BC, and he delivered his first sermon in Sarnath. Then, what are the sermons he gave? What are the things Buddha told? Buddha told about the Four Noble Truths. Buddha presented the Four Noble Truths as guiding principle. And what are the guiding principles? There is suffering in life, the first one. The second one, the cause of suffering is the desire. If I want something, if I desire something, that, and if I don't get it, it is the cause of my suffering. Ending the desire, if I end my desire, if I don't look for my desires to be fulfilled, then the suffering will end. Ending the desire means ending the suffering. And if you follow a controlled life, a moderate lifestyle, and you have no desire, and there will be no suffering, and the suffering will go, and you will attain a state of enlightenment, which you can do it by following the understanding the Four Noble Truths and following some principles given to the people by Buddha. In other words, the truth is that suffering, incapable, caused of satisfying, painful, is all bracketed within the suffering, the word dukkha. Then comes the term samudaya, is the origin of dukkha. The origin of dukkha is the next one. Arising of dukkha together with tanha, or the thirst or the desire. Nirodha means cessation, stopping. Nirodha of dukkha. Dukkha can be stopped by confinement of tanha, and the path leading to confinement and cessation of dukkha is the one which will bring you happiness, These are traditionally identified as the first teaching given by Buddha. Now, Buddha's Four Noble Truths has these things, these components, that life has inevitable suffering, the first one. The second one, there is a cause to our suffering. Every suffering has a cause. Third, there is an end to the suffering. You can end the suffering. And fourth, the end to suffering is contained if you follow Eightfold Path. If you follow the Eightfold Path, then you can get rid of the sansar, you can get rid of the rebirth, incarnation, or whatever. You are not coming to the world again, born again, to suffer once again. Now, what is the let us explain what are the Four Noble Truths. The Four Noble Truths, the most important doctrine Buddha taught was the Four Noble Truths, and in order to achieve that, one has to follow the Eightfold Path. There are Eightfold Paths, 8 directions you have to follow. The first noble truth is that life is suffering, as I said, is dukkha. Life is, as we normally live, full of pleasure and pains. And the pleasure and pains come to the body and to the mind. Pleasure do not represent lasting happiness. No pleasure can last forever. They are inevitably tied in with suffering. If there is a pleasure, there is a pain. So the pleasure is always attached to the suffering. And since the pleasure is not permanent, you are bound to suffer at some point of time. And you will suffer when you don't get the comfort, when you don't get the pleasure, when you don't get the desired object. And if you continue with this desire, you will continue to get the pains. And the second noble truth is that suffering is caused by craving. For sense, pleasure, and for things to be as they are not, we refuse to accept life as it is. As the second noble truth is that of suffering caused by craving, that means human beings always want to have something. And your wanting of getting many things will lead you to suffer, because if you do not get something at a particular time, you will feel the pain, and that is the suffering. And we do not want to live in a world where we have to suffer. We refuse to accept the life as it is, full of pain and pleasure together, which are temporary. The third noble truth, however, states that suffering has an end. There can be end to the sufferings, and the suffering can end how? If you don't desire for getting anything, so you don't crave for getting anything. And the fourth noble truth offers the solution, the means to end my suffering. And what is that? One has to follow Eightfold Path, or the middle way, the middle path. You need not to sit for the meditation, continuously giving pain to your body, or you need not to be always looking for the pleasures. You have to follow some middle path. And this middle path can be followed if you follow the Eightfold Path prescribed by Buddha. If one follows the combined path, he or she will attain nirvana. Because in Buddhism, one school believes, I will be telling you later, that everybody can become a Buddha, everybody can be enlightened if they follow Eightfold Path prescribed by Buddha himself. And this nirvana, what is the meaning of nirvana? It is an undescribable state of mind, or state of all-knowing lucid awareness, in which there is only peace and joy. Nirvana means peace and joy. You are getting rid of all the sufferings, all the pains in the life. This Eightfold Path, or Arya Ashtanga Marga. Marga means path, Ashtanga means eight, and this 8 paths are known as the Eightfold Path, represented by a 8-spoked wheel, the wheel of Dhamma. You can see the picture in it. There are this 8-spoke wheel is there, and it starts with right view, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right concentration, and right mindfulness. This together makes the Eightfold Path. These are right views. You have to take right views which are described in the 4 Noble Truths. Then the second one is the right intention. Whatever you are doing the right thing. You are not doing anything wrong. You have to follow this right intention. Every work, whatever you are doing, you should have a right intention for doing that work. Then right speech. You must speak in such a way that you don't hurt anybody. You speak the right thing to people, and it is known as right speech. Don't tell a lie. Don't tell anything which will hurt anybody. Then the right action. Whatever you do it rightly. The action should be right and you are not doing anything wrong. Then whatever you are doing, your livelihood should be the right way of living. You are not doing anything which is not right. Right livelihood means you do not pick up a job in which you have to give sufferings to other people. You do not pick up a job, or you do not do something which will hurt everybody, and you do not do somebody any harm. This is right livelihood. Then comes right endeavor. Whatever you want to do, you should be very clear in your mind, and it must be in the right way. Then right mindfulness. Total concentration in the activity. Whatever you are doing, you must have concentration in that particular thing. Then right concentration. You meditate. You think about whatever you are doing. You concentrate rightly on that particular thing. So these all known as the Eightfold Path. The Eightfold Path is guided by the principles of middle way. It is not the extreme way. Middle way represents rejection of all the extreme of thoughts. You need not to be going to the jungle and meditating without taking any food, without doing any such work which are supposed to be done by you. It's an extreme thing. You don't do it. There should not be extreme emotion involved in it. There should not be extreme action involved in it, and the extreme lifestyle should not be there. Rather, the mortification of the body, or a life of indulgence in pleasure. You don't indulge in any pleasure. Buddha advocated a moderate way. Neither you should be extremely enjoying your life by the worldly things, nor you should punish yourself by extreme principles of meditation and concentration and all that. So you should follow the middle path. What you can do, it should be a balanced lifestyle and the cultivation of mental and emotional equanimity through meditation and morality. You follow the moral things, you follow the ethical things, and don't do anything extreme. It should be a middle path. This is known as middle path. And next, when Buddha was there, he was preaching his things. He was telling the people, whosoever was coming to him, about these things. Now the question comes, what after Buddha? After Buddha's Nirvana. Nirvana is, as I said, which you cannot describe. It is, you are free from all the bondage, you are free from everything, and you are not coming again to experience the sufferings of life. Nirvana in Buddhism they say it cannot be related, you cannot express it in any language. Nirban is a Sanskrit word meaning to extinguish. In this case, it means to extinguish your ignorance, your hatred, and the earthly suffering, what you understand by Nirban in Buddhist terms. After Buddha's death, after Buddha's Nirban, his disciples gradually settled down into monasteries, which the lay followers, the married followers, they gave as donation to the monks, to the arahants. The laities were in turn taught about Buddha's teachings by these monks. They also engaged in such practices as visiting the Buddha's birthplace, worshipping of the tree under which Buddha got enlightenment, the Bodhi tree, Buddha images, temples where they keep Buddha images, and the relics of his body enshrined either in the stupas or in the funeral mounds. So, these monks, after Buddha's death, after Buddha's Nirvana, started staying in the monasteries. Monasteries were constructed by the donation given to the followers of Buddhism for the monks to shelter there. Many monastic schools were followed after Buddha's demise. After Buddha's death, there is no one person, there is not a single person to guide them. There are monks, there are samanas which are very close to Buddha, and this is partly because, why? Because we see that if somebody goes away, he puts a successor to take the movement further. He gives the charge to somebody to take it further. But Buddha himself said that he never preferred a successor. He said that the practical teaching has been given to everybody. Buddha refused to give an unequivocal answer about whether human have a soul, whether the human have a atma or a soul or not. What is said next. Another reason is given for the development of different schools was that he refused to appoint a successor. He never wanted a successor to follow him as the leader of the Sangha. Sangha means the monastic order. He told the monks to be the lamps unto themselves and to make Dhamma as their guide. He advised the monks to become the lamps, and the lamps will give the light, and that light of Dhamma will be given to you, and you spread the light all over. I don't want to put anybody as my successor. Buddhism's individual outlook and disregard for the caste system, because in the beginning of my lecture I told you that the society was divided into different different castes, and each caste was thinking superior to themselves, and the Brahmanas wanted to become the superior, then come the Kshatriyas. But since Buddhism did not care about the caste system, the lower caste people also were attracted towards it. Buddhism suggested the individual people might be able to attain enlightenment. Everybody can attain enlightenment in this life, and held that caste was not a punishment for the deeds committed in the past life. It is nothing to do with the past life. The story of Nidhi, an example I am giving you here, which example has been given by the master, Venerable Hing Yun, in one of his schools in Fokongshan, and he has given a story. I'll be elaborating that. But what happened before that? Let us know why even the lower class people got attracted towards Buddhism because there was no class distinction. Buddhism suggested that individual people might be able to attain enlightenment in this life, and the caste is not a barrier to attain enlightenment. Digha Nikaya, a Pali text, Buddhist text, narrates an incident when eating a meal at the house of one of his devotees named Chunda, Buddha became seriously ill, and it was clear that the end was near. That the followers of Buddha will blame Chunda and punish Chunda wanted to tell, it is to your merit, Chunda, that I am going to final nirvana after taking the last meal from somebody who is meritorious. The first one is the one after eating which I attain the supreme enlightenment, and the other after which I gain nirvana without remainder. He is telling that he got the nirvana when he got the enlightenment, and now he get parinirvana, the ultimate freeing from the suffering after eating a meal over there. Now Buddha, the story I was trying to refer to you was, Buddha was one day going to some place with his disciple Ananda, his very close disciple, and when he was going, he found a person whose name was Nidhi. He was trying to avoid Buddha because he is from the lower class. Then Buddha himself went to him and told that your caste has nothing to do in you coming to me. That was the kindness of Buddha. And this Nidhi again became the follower of Buddha, and this story was told by, presented by Venerable Master Hing Yun.